all right. So we are back for one more video, and today the video is going to be geared more towards a guide to a beginner's first shoe. Okay. So I'm going to hit a few different points. One, what would I be looking for in a first shoe? And the first one is always going to be cost. The next one is always going to be the comfort, and the next one will be longevity. I'll kind of hit those points in just a second because the other few things I'm going to be looking for is how would I want them to feel? How would I expect them to fit? And then I'll end it off on like what kind of shoe is for who. Okay, so going back to the first point that I mentioned, the three things that I am looking for: cost, comfort, longevity. So reason why I'm looking for these things is because when we first start climbing, we will go through shoes significantly faster. And the better our footwork gets and the better we get at climbing, the longer our shoes are going to last. So that's the reason why I'm looking for something that is going to be very cost effective. And that's exactly what you'll get here with the La Sportiva Trench Lace. This is probably the most popular first shoe for most. And it kind of hits every single one of those points that I mentioned. It is the cheapest one in the lineup that I carry here, at least. These ones go for about $89. They are incredibly comfortable, but of course everybody's foot shape is different, so just because this is very comfortable for most doesn't necessarily mean it's comfortable for everyone. And that's why I did kind of bring up a lineup here, and I'll kind of hit them on the head here for you in a minute. And then longevity. These do have a very thick rand in the front here, so these will typically last you a little bit longer than a softer shoe that you might gravitate towards in the future. So like I said, hits pretty much every mark. This is a fully leather shoe, which typically is going to be a little bit more breathable. It will stretch, so always keep that in mind as well. Actually, the only shoe that I have here that is not going to be a leather top is going to be the Black Diamond Momentum. This shoe here is, I think they are going for about $99 now. This is a fully synthetic top, so this one will not stretch too much. You can expect anywhere up to, depending on how much you downsize them, to about maybe a half size. As you move down, you got the Evolve Defy here. These have now moved up to $110. Once again, fully leather upper, so it's going to be very breathable, but you can expect it to stretch up to about a full size. And this is a lot of leather, so that'll stretch quite a bit. But once again, really great shoe, very comfortable, very stiff, so it's very good for edging. And then the next one is going to be my Scarpa Origin here. Another leather upper. It's going to have Velcro strapping, so easy in and out. Same thing with the Momentum here, I should have mentioned that. But this shoe, I will say, fits wide feet probably the best. So if you have wide toe box and you're looking for a first shoe, I will typically always put you in the Scarpa Origin. It does stretch a lot, probably more than any of the other shoes I have here. And typically, if you're going to have just Velcro strapping, you can't really cinch it down the same that you can with some lacing here. So like I said, those are the three things I'm looking for. Remember, something that's going to be cost effective, something that's going to be very comfortable, because I wouldn't want you to be deterred from climbing because you're not really looking forward to putting your shoes on. I always tell everybody that I'm selling shoes to, pain can come later. Like, I wish I had, oh, look at that, how convenient. Pain can come later, and that's going to be something like this shoe here, something very downturned, very aggressive, and what you'll notice is the volume at the toe here, and when I say volume, I mean, you see how thin that is here and how thick this is here? Now this is to accommodate for your knuckles bowing like this. You would not want to have flat feet in a shoe like this, otherwise you're not really wearing them for what they're used for. So, like I said here, very low volume. So now we're going to basically go with how should they fit. Low volume in the toe box here does not accommodate for knuckling, okay? So you wouldn't want to have much curl in these. If anything, very minor curling, because maybe you have a longer middle toe than some others. So that toe will bend just to meet the rest of the toes, because what I would be looking for is your toes to be touching the front everywhere on this shoe. You want to basically fill the shoe out completely as if you're wearing like a very tight sock. That's why I always say like minor curling at the most, right? Because like I said, we're still looking for comfort. These are not made to have curled toes in them, so you'll end up getting blisters, rubbing skin off the top of your toes, things that you don't really want. Like I said, they're just going to end up being very uncomfortable and you're not really going to want to wear them too often. So that's how I would expect that. And then the other thing is like you don't want your heel to be able to pop. So I typically, once I have somebody put it on, I'll have them pull on the heel. If it pops off too quickly, definitely too big. So that's something to consider with those there. And then the way I always say how they should feel is you should feel very high pressure, but not pain. If you're starting to feel pain, then those are probably too small, because like I mentioned a second ago, pain comes later, okay? And then I pretty much already hit it, but I was gonna say, like, what shoe is for who? If you do have a very narrow foot, I'll say the Momentum fits a narrow foot very well. But if you do have like a wider toe box, like I said, I'll always put you in the Origin. But the Defy as well as the Trench Lace fits a wide foot as well. So yeah, that is pretty much my very basic, very quick, hopefully very informative guide to a beginner shoe.